All right, picture this. You're at a party, drink in hand, casual small talk flowing when suddenly you feel it. That weird tingle down your spine. You can't quite put your finger on it, but something about the person you're talking to feels off. Not like they put pineapple on pizza off, but dangerous off. Well, guess what? According to legendary psychiatrist Carl Jung, you might be picking up on something deeper. Something that's one of the biggest red flags in human behavior. And today, here on BetterMe, we're gonna crack this wide open. Because when it comes to self-improvement, personal development, and mastering your own emotional intelligence, knowing the danger signs in others and in ourselves is absolutely critical. Let's dive in. So what did Carl Jung say is the most dangerous sign in a person? Jung believed the most dangerous thing you could ever encounter wasn't loud anger. It wasn't cold calculation. It wasn't even that weird guy in your office who collects samurai swords. Nope. The real danger? A lack of self-awareness. When someone is completely blind to their own flaws, their own dark sides, their own potential for harm. That's when things get dicey. Because a person who doesn't know their own darkness is much more likely to unleash it on the world without even realizing it. You know, like someone singing off-key with passion at karaoke. Except instead of hurting your ears, they might wreck your life, or their own. Jung wasn't just talking philosophy here. He was throwing out a life-saving warning that still matters just as much today in our quest for self-improvement, emotional intelligence, and personal growth. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. Here's the thing we often get wrong when we talk about self-improvement. We think it's about fixing ourselves until we're some shiny, perfect version of a human. But Carl Jung, and honestly, anyone who's lived long enough to regret a few haircuts, would tell you, it's not about perfection. It's about awareness. When you know your own dark corners, you can manage them. You can steer your ship even through stormy waters. But when you're blind to your weaknesses, that's when you crash into the rocks and probably take a few innocent passengers with you. This ties straight into the heart of personal development. It's not just how to be productive or how to focus. It's about knowing yourself so deeply that you can live with yourself, lead yourself, and yes, sometimes forgive yourself. Why ignorance of the self is the root of real danger. Look, we all know that one person who thinks they're always right. And if you don't know someone like that, it might be you. Just saying. But seriously, when you're blind to your own flaws, you're not just annoying, you're dangerous. Someone who doesn't know they're capable of jealousy can become controlling without realizing it. Someone who doesn't admit they have anger inside can erupt like a volcano on an unsuspecting Tuesday. And someone who thinks they're too nice to ever hurt anyone. Yeah, those are the ones who end up doing real damage without ever taking responsibility. Self-discipline starts with self-knowledge. So does self-control. You can't manage what you won't admit exists. That's why minimalist living isn't just about throwing out your extra shoes. It's about stripping back the illusions you carry about yourself. Daily Stoic wisdom lines up with Jung's warning perfectly. You know who else preached this centuries before Jung ever showed up with his pipe and deep thoughts? The Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They were all about looking inward daily, admitting your flaws, and doing the uncomfortable work of checking your own ego at the door. This is what daily Stoic practice is about. Radical honesty with yourself. It's the ultimate growth mindset, because it accepts that you're a work in progress, not a finished product. And it's what makes real self-development possible. No study motivation trick or time management hack can save you if you're still lying to yourself about what's really going on inside. How to recognize the signs of dangerous self-ignorance in yourself and others. All right, let's get practical. How do you spot a person who's dangerously self-ignorant? They blame everyone else for their problems. If their job sucks, it's the boss's fault. If their relationship crashes and burns, it's because nobody appreciates them. If they trip over their own shoelaces, well, clearly the sidewalk had it out for them. It's never their choices. It's never their behavior. It's always them, whoever them is today. They react explosively to feedback. Even the tiniest bit of constructive criticism, boom, instant meltdown. You suggest they might want to rethink how they handled that meeting? Suddenly you're against them or jealous. These folks don't just dislike feedback. They treat it like a personal attack launched by NASA. They think they have nothing to learn. You'll hear phrases like, "That's just the way I am," or "I already know that," or my personal favorite, "I've been doing this for years." Right. And you've been doing it wrong for years, champ. The most dangerous people are the ones who have mentally retired from learning, as if life doesn't have new lessons every dang day. They can't laugh at themselves. And let's be real, if you can't laugh at yourself, you're missing one of the cheapest forms of therapy. Life hands you plenty of awkward, cringy, "Did I really just do that?" moments. If someone treats every tiny joke at their expense like a national security threat, odds are their self-image is a fragile little house of cards. They always play the victim. Life is tough, no doubt. But if someone's the victim in every story they tell, you gotta wonder. At some point, when every job is toxic, every ex is crazy, every friend is so fake, well, there's one common denominator there, and it's not the exes. And in yourself? Oh boy, that's where it gets real. Watch for defensiveness. Pay attention anytime you catch yourself immediately thinking, "That's not me," without even considering that maybe, just maybe, it could be. That knee-jerk, "No way" response? That's ego trying to defend the castle walls, even if the kingdom inside is crumbling a little. Instead of instantly rejecting feedback or criticism, practice pausing. Ask yourself, is there even 1% truth in what they're saying? You'd be amazed how much personal development comes from being willing to find that tiny sliver of truth, even when it stings. Because true personal growth requires a level of humility that hurts sometimes. Growth isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it feels more like cleaning out your garage in 90-degree heat, standing ankle-deep in broken stuff you forgot you even owned. But afterward, man, does it feel good. You can breathe. You can move. You're not tripping over old junk every time you walk in. The same goes for your inner life. When you face the clutter inside, your blind spots, your ego trips, your outdated stories, you create space for something better. More strength, more wisdom, more peace. And honestly, being able to laugh at your own past mistakes, to admit where you've been stubborn or foolish, that's one of the best signs that you're truly leveling up. Because at the end of the day, self-improvement isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming more honest, more humble, more human. And in a world full of people pretending they've got it all figured out, being real is downright revolutionary. Building self-awareness is a daily practice, not a one-time event. You don't just wake up one day fully self-aware, like a Disney princess awakening from a magical nap. Building self-awareness, like building self-discipline or mastering how to focus, is a daily grind. It's the little moments, pausing before you snap at your kid, questioning why that email made you so mad, admitting that maybe, just maybe, you're not the best driver on the road, even if you really are. Probably. It's a habit, a muscle, a practice. And here's where time management sneaks into the picture too, making time every day for reflection. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a moment in the shower, whatever works. Self-improvement without self-awareness is just self-delusion with better branding. The payoff for facing your dark side is massive. Here's the kicker. When you know your dark sides, they stop running your life. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. And when you are, you unlock a whole new level of freedom, of personal development, of real self-control. You become someone people can trust, not because you never screw up, but because you own it when you do. You also become someone you can trust. And that, my friends, is a serious flex. Self-development starts with self-honesty. That's not just Jungian psychology. That's life experience talking. Becoming dangerous in the right way? So, is being dangerous always bad? Not necessarily. The truth is, once you know yourself, your light and your darkness, you are dangerous, but in the best way. You become dangerous to lies, to ignorance, to anything that tries to keep you small. You become the kind of person who can walk into a room and own it, not because you're faking it, but because you know exactly who you are. And that's the kind of dangerous the world desperately needs right now. So, if you're here on BetterMe, working on your self-improvement, leaning into your growth mindset, sharpening your emotional intelligence, I salute you. It's not always easy. It's not always pretty, but it's always worth it. Stay curious, stay humble, stay just dangerous enough. I'll catch you in the next one.